All right, welcome everybody. This is the new little section of video, and this is aptly called the Riders Meeting. Thanks everybody for watching, and we have with us. Introduce yourself, there, ma'am.
I'm Sam. Fun fact, I taught myself how to ride a motorcycle by watching YouTube videos.
Okay, I got it. I'll have questions on that. So yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
definitely come back to that. And
hmm
then, sir, please, your name,
I'm Bennett.
Bennett. What?
Kresty.
Okay, here we go. What was your last name, ma'am?
Me, Troy.
Troy. Sam Troy. That's two short names. I like it. All
Yeah.
right. So first off, let's. I'm gonna come back to that teaching yourself to ride thing, but
hmm
first off, Sam, give me a little bit of your riding history. When did you start? I mean, obviously, you just said you taught yourself, but why did you want to get into it? Give me a little background on it, and then what led you up to starting to want to ride at the track.
Yeah. I always wanted to ride a motorcycle. I was always backpack. And then for whatever reason, probably for good reason, I just never executed that. I was 18 and probably would have injured myself badly. Then COVID happened and I saw this couple ride up the street on their Vespas. And I'm like, I want to do that. So I started watching YouTube and then I bought a motorcycle and they delivered it.
That's awesome. So
hmm
what led you to from? So that was during COVID. So when did you
Yeah.
start riding the track?
Um, that was 2023.
So what, 1 or 2 years later?
Yeah, like yeah, ish.
So
Two,
what
three.
what made you want to go and jump to go to the track?
Honestly, I saw it on TikTok. I know that sounds so
Really?
like you see everything there, but
Whatever, man.
I was super interested in it and I've always loved sport bikes. Like they just have a special place in my heart and I was like, let's do that.
That's awesome. I mean, I don't care what it is that gets people to come to the track. Like, I'm all for it. Like, I think I hate TikTok. I don't have it, and like people send me stuff, and I'm like, I can't even believe this
hmm
shit. Don't whatever. But
Yeah,
I don't care what form it is that gets people there. I'm happy. Like, whatever.
I'm
Ben,
here.
yeah, yeah. Bennett, what's your riding story? How'd you get into riding motorcycles, and then what led you to get to the track, man?
Well, I always really wanted to do it from a young kid, and I remember asking my dad, "Hey, could I get a NSR 50 instead of a car when I'm 16?" He's
I,
like,
dude,
"Well,
I had one of those. I bought. There was a leftover one at Ask Power Sports in Columbus. There was three, brand new leftover '04 NSR 50s, and this was in like 2018, and I
oh
got it
wow,
for like $2,200. Never had oil or anything in it. Owner's manual, the whole nine. I was like, this is crazy. We used to ride minis. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
all good." Yeah. So from there, no. So I had to wait a few years till I can afford one. One day, me and my buddies were just like, "Let's go buy motorcycles." So we did, and then did a few years of street riding till I bought a 1000. Not a good idea. And
Seems
yeah,
like it
that's
at the time, though. I'll tell you, it always
oh, it was
does.
super fun. Super fun until I broke my leg and got in a bunch of other trouble and
Oh no.
things of that nature. But yeah, that's pretty much how I got into it.
So what? But what? Was there a certain person or somebody, or you kind of see it online, like she did, or whatever? Like, what drew you to go to ride at the track?
Well, for the track, I just didn't want to get any more trouble in the street. I was looking at the riding career that I had, and I pretty much said, "Well, what's next?"
Did you know people that already rode the track, or
I knew people who were interested, and that's who I ended up going with initially. I believe in 2021, I had one track day on the 1000. Again, not a good idea. And the first track day just wasn't a great experience. It was with a different organization and kind of put a sour taste in my mouth until I had bought a smaller bike and done a track day with you guys. And then that really changed it around for me. And I took a little bit of a hiatus, and this year just came back with a dedicated track bike and just really interested in learning. So that's what brought me here.
awesome, man? So before we get started into your guys' questions, please inform me on this YouTube learning to ride stuff. I can't wait to hear this story. So
There's lots of videos out there, mostly of men on Harleys, but um, yeah, I watched and absorbed everything I could.
it's
If
it's
they could do it, I could do it.
it's just weird. Like, I'm not a I'm a in-person, hands-on. Like I could read a textbook, but I would have to read it like 30 times for it to sink in. But if you show me something hands-on one time, I'm like, boom, I got it.
Yeah.
And that's how it just always been my entire life. But like, there's something about the clutch that for me, I'm like, that is a in-person learning scenario. And that's pretty impressive that you just watched a video and then did it. That's
Well, also drove stick shift, so that the
that helps
concept
a
of a
lot.
clutch helps a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. But
Yeah.
still, yeah. Well, I think most women are just, I think maybe a tad smarter than men sometimes at learning things. At least I feel so, because we're just, I don't know, dumb as rocks sometimes. But, all right. Well, you guys have battled and chose, or whoever is going to go first. So we'll get into the questions, and you know, if I don't have an answer for you, I'm not going to make something up. You know, I'll tell you I don't know. If I do have an answer, and I'll give you an answer to the best of my ability and my knowledge base that I can, based on, you know, what I know. So proceed there, Sam. I think you're up first, right?
Yeah. I just want to know who the most famous rider that you've met is.
That I've met. I mean,
hmm You've met so many.
no, not a lot. I mean, like, so I mean, I've been to like MotoGP races and stuff. Not like shook hands with anybody. So,
Okay.
but like Josh Hayes was just up at like the last we were around at Nelson, and like I don't know, it's super cool. Like that dude's AMA Superbike winner. I mean, he's
Yeah.
a legend,
He's
and
neat.
and like to just see him just, you know, slumming it in the paddock, like not slumming it, like I feel like I'm slumming compared to him, but you know, it was just, and he's just such a down to earth dude. Rocco Landers was
Cool.
there. I actually had to, you know, this kid's a AMA rock star, and I had to give him knee sliders, because he didn't have any left on his. And then
Sweet. I notice you guys share a lot. Like everyone's really willing. If you forgot your tire warmers, like someone's there, like has an extra set. Like the track community is
it
really
is,
nice
and like
that way.
and it's kind of I feel like shit when my personality is like, I want to be the guy that has everything for anybody and everybody. And like, if I have to get help from something, it's probably the worst way to look at it, but like, I feel bad. So like, I couldn't even tell you the last 2 years, and anybody that watches this that knows me at all is going to be like, I know exactly what he's going to say. My generators, my onboard one, it's died on me. I don't know how many times. I bought a backup big-ass generator. That thing has died and left me stranded. I have a small one
Man.
that always works, but it's not enough to run my camper. And I always bring my dog, and he's got to have AC. But I've borrowed generators from people to, like, make the weekend and whatever. And, like, those days I just get bummed out because, like, I want to be the guy that's like, well, you need warmers? Here's spare warmers. Wait, you don't have anything to run them? Here's a generator. You need a tool? Here.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. Like, I've always tried to be that guy, and I like being the one to help. I hate being the one that needs help. It's a, you know, I don't know. It can be bad,
It's all
I guess,
right.
sometimes, but, like, that's just the way I've always felt. I don't know. Bennett, what you got, man?
All right. This question, because it's something I've struggled with, and I know other people struggle with, but what would you tell a rider who's anxious or scared but wants to push through and improve their skill set on the track?
So I was actually talking to Marty about this because I did his interview yesterday, Marty Sires, and it was he said something I haven't heard him say before, but he said he's brought it up in novice coaching, and when he first said it, I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. He said Josh Hayes told him at one time that he started golfing, and he goes, man, you know, golfing taught me a lot. He said, when you go out to golf, it's you against the course, not against somebody else. And he goes, I started to do that with my riding, like not so much like try to run against a competitor, but like I'm, you know, learning the track and all these different undulations and braking zones and stuff, and I'm battling that, like the course, not another person. And when we start talking about that, I've always said everybody is different, right? So like,
Yeah.
I am a very, very slow learner. I take baby steps.
Oh, me too.
My buddy came in and was like, 1 year to advance, and then we started racing. And like I had previously done a year novice a long time ago, and then like a couple years intermediate, and then a hiatus, and came back in intermediate. And it took me, half a season to kind of like work into A group or whatever. And it was like, it's a lot of it has to do with how you learn, your risk assessment. Like, what are you willing to risk, right? That's probably the biggest thing. The less you're willing to risk tends to be the slower your progression in sport, a type of sport, especially like this is. And then like everybody's like has a different mental way to go through things. Like some people don't have that part of their brain that goes, hey, this is not safe, right? Like most of us do, but they're varying levels. But like there are the people, and those are the guys that race like Moto American shit because they can just turn that off, and there's just zero fear.
Yeah.
And I always like bring that back to like they started when they were so young, there was no risk, right? Like they didn't know what risk was, and they didn't have to pay for a home or a food or whatever. Like everything was taken care of. They didn't have to go to a job. And when you learn at that age and you get those, you can push those boundaries and learn like where limits are, and you can cross them, and you can bounce back quick. Then you like, once you do all those things, the next time, and I equate this to like, if you've ever broke really hard and the back comes up on the bike. First time you ever do that, or the first time you ever feel the rear slip, you like want to shit your pants, right? You're like, holy crap. That's like super unnatural, but you didn't crash. So the next time you do it, it's not holy shit. It's like, oh, then the next time you do it, it's like, oh, okay, I've been there. Then the fourth time you do it, it's like, after that, it's nothing, right? So it's like every step is, at least it's been for me, has been like, okay, this is sketchy, and then it normalizes, and then it's nothing, and that's in the past. But when you start really young, you get all that early, and then everything else is downhill, right? But when you start later in life, I feel it's harder to like get to those limits and learn those lessons because there's so much risk involved, and your well-being and your livelihood and what you do for a living. None of us get paid to do this. This is a hobby. So like we're only to put so much risk out. But I would say like you have to push your comfort zone a little bit, or you'll you'll just never get out of it. But you can't go to the point where you feel out of control. Some of the things that I do, like from coaching and just from myself, I've like learned little tricks of ways to help people improve that aren't like the normal thing of like, well, go through that corner faster, just like break way later. Right? Well, I mean, that does two things. Like you either slow down way too much, or you're going to overcook and you're going to panic. But I've like kind of had developed different ways to do that where it's not scary, but you are going to carry more corner speed. And once you realize that, the normalization's there, and now you know how fast you can go through it, then you can start applying the brake later thing. And I feel like I can brake to a point I'm comfortable going through the corner, where before it was a little bit slower. But the method that I have is like, we're not going to brake later. We're going to brake way, way earlier, but then we're going to let off the brake earlier. So where I would normally like go and brake hard and then trail into the corner and make my corner, and I slow down to a speed that I'm comfortable with, if I say, hey, let's start braking 8 feet earlier, and then where you would normally let off the brake 8 feet earlier, right? You're going to naturally just carry more roll speed through. And then when you see that, off the brakes, the bike turns way easier. So when you do that, it just gets your brain comfortable at that speed, and it doesn't feel like out of control. So, yeah, I mean, it's everybody's learning thing. Everybody, the way they learn, the risk is what they're willing to risk. It's just all this stuff kind of contributes to how people learn. And like, all I can say is just stop trying to compare yourself to anybody, your buddy or whatever. Like, your buddy may not have that switch and may be a psychopath and go out there and bin it in turn one at 130 mile an hour on a Sunday, and you're not, right? Because you're
right.
If you're more just worried about yourself, or you have stuff to take care of, or you can't turn that switch off, that's fine. There's nothing to that. It may take you a little bit longer, but you'll get there. And it's just not getting down on yourself. That's the thing. You just got to know that like forever and always there's going to be somebody faster don't ever freaking worry about that. Unless you're Mark Marquez, I don't think you really got to worry about, being the best. And just learn at your own pace, because if not, you end up getting in some trouble. You'll make mistakes and hurt yourself and whatever. But the biggest thing is, like, if you try to do it at a pace that you're not comfortable with and you get over your head, it ends up being really, really frustrating, and then it's no fun. And the same thing, if you get down on yourself that you're not learning as fast as whoever else, then you'll get down on yourself too. And I've been there. And it's like, man, if you can't smile at the track, that sucks. You might as well just hang it up at that point. Like, what's the point of going if all you're going to do is just be mad? So I know it's a long-winded answer to it, but yeah.
Well, it's all good. I've had some moments describing exactly that where, I just remind myself, I'm here to have fun. But yeah, some people who just show up and don't care, run, fast until they can't anymore. And, I totally understand. Everyone learns different.
It is, man. And, like, just don't get discouraged no matter what. Like, if you take a year in novice, I took a year in novice, and people out there are like, dude, you're so fast out there, which I'm not. I'm okay, but I'm not like AMA or Moto America material whatsoever. And I ride Nelson a lot, so there's that. But like, I was there when I started. I saw a coach that was like, it was like my second track day in novice, and I'm freaking doing everything I can to keep up. I'm like, I'm at my limit, man, on a race-built F4i I bought off this guy. I mean, this thing was completely race prepped. And this 260-pound coach on a just ragged-out SV650, like a 99, and it was at Putnam Park, and he's just going around this corner, just looking back at me, and I'm like, what the dude, how is that even possible? And now, like, so, I'll never forget that stuff. And now I remember that when people, when I'm coaching, like, it's just, you get to the point of being comfortable. You'll get there. At how long it takes you, it just depends on the person, right? And just don't get down on yourself. Always ask for help. I mean, and if, you're working with a certain coach and you're like, you could like him and everything, but maybe you're just not progressing, and maybe somebody else can somehow click something with you with somebody else, just go ask another coach. I mean, we're all really good, but we all have a little different ways of doing things. So you may jive with Chris Johnson more than you would me, or you know what I mean? Like, it just depends. Everybody's a little bit different, and you may just, something that he says that I may have say something that means the same thing, but I don't get it across the same way. But with you, with him, it just clicks with you. I mean, ask everybody, man. Everybody's willing to help. We'll do whatever we can for you. And that's like, it's my favorite thing. Whenever I see somebody that struggled with something for a while, and it could be like a month, 2 months, whatever, a certain corner, and then that one day, it's like, they come off the bike that session, they come over, and they're like, dude. I'm like, hell yes. It puts a big smile on my face. Sam, you're next.
I am. So how do you train your eye for reference points? I think that's a limiting factor for me on gaining more speed.
As far as like, so what do you mean for reference points? You mean just like try to be looking far ahead, or are you talking about like specific references?
Specific, like tip in, or like my problem last time was I looked too far ahead, right?
Yep.
I wasn't looking in front of me. And so I'm still like coming at the corner, kind of guessing. Like I'm following someone all morning. That's fine.
Yep. That's like, I think I see, one of the things I see, it's like really a lot of novice struggle with is like, if they're behind a coach, they hit every mark every time. It's dead on. I get behind them, and it's like, they've never seen the track before, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of it's like, okay, you're paying attention, and you're like, he went there, I'm going there. So what you need to start doing is saying like, okay, let's try to pick something out somewhere, whatever it is, that's close to that, that's permanent, that where he started to turn in, that's my reference now. And then the next time you're behind him, I mean, you'll obviously will be in peripheral, but you'll look at where you've made that mark. So like, I'll give you a good, for instance, like 4 is a really good one that I always pick out. When I'm coming into 4 and you have those patches and they're kind of interlaced like this, I'm coming over here, I'm crossing, and I know, like, that's where I look for. I look for that edge, and then I just shoot from there right across to where it overlaps the other one and go right across it right to the candy stripes. and then let it kind of drift out. And on the exit, that I know it could probably grow over, but I've never ever seen it grow over. There's that bald patch of grass right off the side of the track.
Is it
And
that
like,
hole?
yeah, it's like a little divot. That's where the tracks run off. And
Yeah.
like, that's what I shoot for. That's like that's my exit point, right? So like, as you go, obviously Nelson's got patches here and there and stuff. There's so many things on the, like physically on the track, not even off the track, that you can like reference to use as that reference. But you know, when you're doing that and you're following a coach, it is very hard because you're trying to figure out where that line is or whatever. But one thing I could say it's good is like, have you done a track walk with anybody before?
I mean, not with anyone, but I've walked the Nelson's track. We've ridden bikes and such.
Oh, well, next time you're up there, like, I know Steve Deshay does it a lot. I'm lazy. I don't like to do it, but I'll probably take my scooter out if you wanted to. My little electric scooter.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a little lazy. I don't like walking. But he's walked
Pedal
too,
bikes,
but, like, we'll go around the track. And then now, do what?
Pedal bikes. That's the only way. It's a long walk.
Yeah, I can't pedal. I get the electric scooter. I know I'm doing that. But when you take a walk around the track, not only do you, obviously, you've seen, like, the banking's way more than you could ever really imagine when you're on the bike. When you're on the bike, everything looks flat. It's pretty wild. But, like, when you walk it, it's like, holy crap. The amount of, like, camber in the corner stuff is just insane. But we also walk the track. We can go, see this? This, like, spot in the pavement? Like, okay, we're at walking speed, but the next time you go out on track, and you could do corner by corner if you want to. And remember that, be like, this is where that's at. So then first session the next day, you go out and you're following. And let's say we'll take, for example, corner one. I know I've walked the track and I know where my entry, my apex, and my exit is. So I'm going to start. I'm forgetting about the coach. I'm following him, but I'm forgetting about him right now. And I'm going to look because, like, you've already followed me all day and you know where to be. Now we physically showed you on a track walk, and now you've seen on track as you walked where these particular things, and it may not be exactly what I pick out as a reference point, but it's something that maybe you did. And now we can go at speed. And that first lap, guarantee you'll probably like barely see those reference marks. But the next time out, you'll go, okay, saw that one now. And the next one is, you know, get your apex. Okay, I see that now. And maybe the third lap, you go, now I know where the exit is. And now you'll start to put that together. And you could do it corner by corner that way. But yeah, track walk's really good to like get those, like you can see more up close and at a slower speed of what those references are. And don't use the cones because they move like every freaking time we're out there.
Right.
So, but I
know
mean,
that.
There's definitely several ways around the track. Like there's different lines, like especially for me, like through one, some people run on the inside of that patch and I run straight across it. I'll never go on the inside just in case I'm going a little too fast. I got to cross over. I don't like the way it feels. But, you know, so my reference there would be a little bit different. But, you know, and the speed you go as well, right? So, like, if I showed you where I turn in at my speed, you would turn in too early. You know what I mean? Because at my speed, I have to turn in at that point quicker and harder. But if I put you there, you're going to turn in. You probably, at the pace you'd go, you'd probably apex a little bit early on it. But still trying to practice that line because when you get up to that pace, you want to stay on whatever. But yeah, so that's what I suggest. And also sometimes, I don't know if I've done it with you, but like sometimes I'll ride around when I'm riding around, I'll literally just point. You know what I mean? Here's where we're tipping in. Boom. So like if I got somebody following me, usually it's like after lunch and if somebody's like, hey, you want to work with me? And novice, I'll take them out and I'll ride around, let them get in front of me. I'll do it. I'll be like, okay, they look pretty good through 1 and 2 and 3 before they're missing their entry and this and that, and maybe 12, 13. So then I jump in front of them and we'll get through 1, 2, 3, and then we'll get into 4 and I'll go, boom, I'm turning in. I'll point right now. This is when I want you to go and make it more drastic. You know what I mean? So like, this is where I want you to start turning in. And then when I get the apex, which I've actually burnt through the fingertips of gloves doing this, touching the ground by accident, but I'll point at the apex. And then when I exit, boom, here's where I want you to be. I want you right here. And if you don't get it after like 3 laps, we'll pull into hot pit and I'll go, "Are you see what I'm doing? This is where I want you to be." And like, if you're struggling with it, let's try to figure it out. You know, I just want to try to get whoever. And Marty said yesterday when we were talking, he's like, don't try to work on everything at once. It's too much.
It's a lot.
Work if all the track is a problem when you're starting, especially it is. work on one first. Get one down, then forget about one. Start working on two and come through one, whatever. Now we're working on two. And the rest of the lap, all the rest of the corners, we're just going to do what we can. We're going to nail down two. Once we get two down, and we're going to work on three or whatever it is. But like if you got half the track done, pick a corner, work on it till you get it. Once you get it, now it's automatic, right? It's like shifting gears. You don't even just realize you're doing it. And that's what you want, like to just be boom, 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 automatic. That's all I got on that.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right, man.
All right. Is there anything commonly recommended to newer track riders that makes your skin crawl?
Not like, I don't know, maybe there's probably a whole bunch of crap online. And
Sure.
I mean, I'll be quite honest, is some good advice on there. There really is some. But the person who like hasn't ridden at the track, they don't know what's right or wrong, right? And most of the time, it's probably going to be whatever's the most entertaining to them, and they're going to latch onto that. What makes my skin crawl, like, as far as when we get people at the track, like, I like all our customers, but the thing, like, one of the things it is, I guess it's not like annoying, but it definitely hurts the person more than it even annoys me, is like, if you come with an attitude of like, I don't need help, and you just think you're just this, like, MotoGP superstar, we like every time we'll be like, well, might be picking this guy up out of the grass, right? And like you're doing wheelies down the front straight or whatever, and like you try to give him advice, and it's kind of like brush off. Like all we want to do is help. Like, trust me, you're not fast. This is your first time or second time at the track. You're not. Like you may think you're going fast, but you're not hitting any line. You're absolutely inconsistent, and then like he'll just never move up because like the consistency's not there. He's just a wild man or wild woman, it's just crazy. So like not being humble is, if I want to call it annoying or make my skin crawl, that would be it. Like I want people to come with the attitude of like, what can I learn? They want the knowledge, because that's really how you progress and how you get better. The attitude of like, I don't need it, leave me alone, like I can't wait to just be on my own and go do wheelies or whatever, that makes my skin crawl. But yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, someone who's willing to learn more than likely will make better strides in their riding career, I feel like.
100%, dude. 100%. I mean, I will say there's probably like 1 out of 1,000 or whatever, like freaks. Like, and I personally know one, and I was like, this is insane. When I first started riding, it was like the third or fourth track day I did, and it was with the group called Higher Riders. It was like an online forum. And we would do rides and events and whatever. It was a mix of everything, sport bikes, sport touring, whatever. But they were trying to get more people to the track, and that's how I kind of got involved a little bit. But this guy, I mean, he was a pretty good rider. I mean, I hadn't ridden with a lot, but like we went there. He'd never done a track day ever. He went to advance the first day. I was like, bro, that's freaking insane. How does that happen? I'm like, blew my mind. I mean, there are those rare instances, but like, he had motocross background and stuff too, so like he had some experience with motorcycles, and whatever. But like track riding is just so different than motocross. So there are those freaks of nature out there, I will say. But yeah, most of the time you have to. I mean, you got to get the advice and figure it out and step by step. Some people learn faster than others, but like, yeah, I mean, you got to be able to be accepting of advice. And I mean, the people there like Malakar, Marty Sires. Marty ran an AMA back in like the 80s or 90s or whatever it was. Like, these dudes have been doing it forever. They have a wealth of knowledge, right? I mean, listen, I listen every time. I mean, I'll always gain knowledge every weekend. I mean, you never stop learning.
Yeah.
All right. So how do you find that your skills transfer from track to track? Are you slower at other tracks, or once you're fast, you're fast?
I mean, the more you ride a particular track, you will be faster at it. I mean, it just is. Like, the fastest I am is going to be at Nelson because I coach there and I've put thousands of laps in, 100%. I'm not like the quickest guy to pick up new tracks. When I wasn't like in advance and didn't have the same amount of experience, it was definitely a lot harder. But from the way my skill set has, evolved from then to now and racing and stuff, like I can go in and I have a plan when I go to learn a track. It's always like, and I'm on my own. Like if I was a novice, I think honestly it would like maybe easier because you're not as pressured. But like if you go to a track you've never been to in your entire life and you jump into advance, even at my level, it's like, do you feel like most of these guys that are from around there or whatever, and you feel like you're going to be a rolling roadblock. But it's, always go out and go, okay, where does the track go? And I'll look at videos and stuff before I go to get an idea. But, go out, follow a coach or somebody that knows the track well, get an idea of the line. And then next, it's like kind of figure out where I should be shifting, where I should start braking. And then after that, it's just pushing those boundaries a little bit. How quick I can get down here, how late I can brake. I'm not going to be at 110% right out of the gate. I'll be at like 80% for all that margin. But, the first thing is like, for me is learn the track, then figure out where I should be gear-wise on stuff, and then start pushing like the braking and stuff and really try to figure things out. But, having somebody that knows the track to follow them around, coach or not, is just, can get better than that. Like, they're just, it's navigation for you, right?
Yeah.
Am I up?
Yes, sir.
All righty. Do you think dragging knee matters at all in the novice class? I feel like that's a goal for a lot of people when they're first getting into the sport is getting the puck down. How do you feel about that?
Well, I will give you two different answers. I will give you my answer as when I was a novice. Hell yes, it does. I used to reach for that shit.
Mm-hmm.
First time I did it, I was like, oh, it's so freaking awesome. Now I pull my knee up because knee sliders are not cheap. So like I'll literally like touch. I mean, it's a reference, right? So, you touch and go, okay, I know where I'm at here. And yeah, so now like I'll touch and try to pick my knee up because I'm like, before I just smoke a set of sliders in like a weekend. Be like, yeah, another $50. Yeah, look how cool it is. Don't get me wrong. I've drug elbow like 2 times, never got a picture. I want a picture. Then I would never care ever again. But like I just want to picture myself dragging elbow because it's cool.
Right.
I mean, people could talk as much shit as they want and be like, that's stupid, blah, blah, blah. But like, it is cool. You see it when you watch racing and you're like, I want to do that. I'll never, ever be beyond that and say that if you got a picture of yourself dragging elbow, that's not cool because it is. I mean, it's just for as a part, like not even to share with anybody else, just to have and go and back and look at it, be like,
I would look at it all the time.
That,
legitimately does not matter. Like, especially novice. I mean, the pace we go around there, I think group 1, group 2 sometimes, for sure. 13, easily be touching your knee. And the more you're off the bike, right, the less lean angle your bike's going to have. Because if you have your body position correct and you're getting that weight off the bike, you're allowing margin of error of degree of lean angle you can keep. So like, but I wouldn't say just grind that thing in. Does it matter if you drag knee? No. If you do, touch, pull it up a little bit, whatever. I mean, do whatever you want. I'm not going to tell anybody what to do or not to do, but like, cool factor, yeah, everybody's been there. You want to do it. Like, you see that and you're like, oh, I can't wait to do that. When you do that, it's almost like validating that, like, okay, I'm a track rider now, right? Right? You got to that point, and then after that, it just gets worse. But no, I mean, there really is no matter. I mean, there's people that don't drag knee at all, and like, there's some really fast guys that they barely touch. But I mean, they're hauling the mail, so it doesn't really. No, there's no like, you have to or not. Does it matter? It's one or the other, but it is a cool thing. I will not disagree that it's a cool thing. So,
well, to add on to that, it happened for the first time on my last track day, and I think I screamed the entire following lap in my helmet. I was like, "This is awesome."
It feels weird at first,
I got to
right?
the pit.
I went off the track the first time.
Yeah, it's like, what yeah. Well, try doing your elbow. Then it's like, oh my, jeez, because the first time I ever drug my elbow was when I crashed. So I thought that's what was going to follow, and it didn't. But yeah, it is it is a funky feeling, right? But then you were excited as hell.
Oh yeah, and I guess my second question to add on to this, my bad, but once it's down, how do you know how much further you can go before it's like, all right, you're out of grip, that you at the edge
Yeah,
of
when
the
you run out
tire?
of grip.
That's it. All right.
Yeah, I mean,
fair enough.
legitimately, like, so you find the limit when you find the limit. But as I tell most people in novice, the limit that you'll find is not the limit, right? Because as a rider beginning and at your skill set, almost, I would say like 100% of the time, outside of somebody hitting you if you were, they ran into you or something, but it's always your fault. Because go watch Advance, and there's a guy running sevens, and he could be on the exact same bike as you. He may be on slicks, but I'll guarantee if you put him on the same tires that you had, he'd maybe be a second slower. So, like, the limit is way higher than you could ever imagine when you're at novice. But that's the thing, you're always like, I don't know how far. It's a guessing game, right? And the thing I always say is just like, go watch, go look at coaches that run in advance sometimes. Like Chris Johnson on that 2003 Gixxer. I don't know how he gets around so fast on the damn thing, but like he was running, DOT tires until like last year, running like 111s around there. I mean, he wasn't like sliding the ass end all around the track. I mean, there's so much grip, there's so much lean angle available, and it's all about how you apply it. And it's also about how you are on the bike, being loose and not stiff and not panicking. That's like, again, like I said, like if you're braking real hard and the back wiggles, or the first time the rear ever slides, it's a panic. But then after you get comfortable with it, it's not a big deal. So, but you also change, like, as you progress your riding skill, your riding style will also adapt. Like, so you'll maybe hang off the bike a little bit more. You may adjust your suspension differently. It will set you up on the bike different. You're going to be braking harder and later and flowing through the corner more. And then you'll look back 2 years from now and go, man, that's crazy that I thought that, like, I was this far away from the limit. Like, it's the unknown, right? And novice, when you do crash, you think you met it, but it's not. It's just your skill set isn't broad enough yet to really explore that limit. Are you at your limit at your skill set? Yeah. If you crashed, you were, right? You did something wrong. Something happened there that you were over the limit of your skill set. But are you over the limit of the bike and the tires? Hell no. Absolutely not. Rocco Landers, I don't know if either of you guys know this, when he was like 15, he did a 108 at Nelson on a Ninja 400. Now, I do a
Amazing.
109 on my V4 Panigale that's, 200 horsepower. That's the best I did this year. It was the first year I've had that bike. And that's crazy. 108, he had to just hold the thing pinned the entire time around the track. So, like, and those tires are this wide. You have tires that are this wide. So, yeah, there's a lot more there. And it's skill dependent more so than anything else. The bike will do way more than you'll ever be able to do. I mean, both of my bikes can go faster than I can push them, 100%. All right, Sam.
So when you're looking to bump from novice to advanced, let's just skip intermediate altogether.
Yeah.
When you're looking for the bump from novice, what are you evaluating in a rider?
So when we watch you guys, we think, okay, we feel like you have what it is that's required to go to intermediate. Obviously you have to be able to carry some sort of pace, but pace isn't the overall thing that we look for. The major thing is consistency. We want you to be hitting that race line. Like the line we show, we want you to hit that every time. But as I always say, if most of, let's say 50% or 70% of the time on the track, you're hitting the mark that I want you to hit every time, and then the other 30% of the time, you're off the line, but you're hitting the same point every time, that's still good for me because you're predictable, consistent. The biggest thing is when you go into intermediate, let's say, think about it this way. If you're an intermediate rider and you expect everybody to be at your same skill level, and someone comes in and they're not, they're wild, they're unpredictable. When you go in there, that's what we want. When you go to intermediate, everybody in intermediate expects that the person that's riding next to them is going to hold their line and they're not going to be swerving around or doing some crazy shit, So if you need to make a pass, you know that they're going to be there. So if they're there that last lap, that they should be there the next lap, right? Like if there's no traffic ahead of them or whatever, they should be there because that should be a consistent line. Then it makes it safer for you to make a pass. So it's the consistency, it breeds like the safety, right? And it's even more so when you get in advance. When you get in advance, everybody there knows like, you know, we'll make passes super close and underneath or whatever, but we all know that at our skill set and that we know to keep whatever distance, and we trust that the person we're passing is going to still be where they were before, and we know that. It's like, you know, 98% of the time, that's exactly what happened. So then it makes it much, much easier. Yeah, she just dropped out. Oh, she's back. But it makes it much, much easier to like make those passes and do those things because, you know, everybody has a consistency and has that comfortability and knows all those things. And it's just like, you know where that level is. So yeah, consistency, and that's up, you know, advance is more like kind of pace, but if you don't have consistency, then you shouldn't be there either. But intermediate advance is probably more pace oriented, but still consistency. But yes, novice intermediate is like, it's more so consistency than it is pace. Like you have to have enough that we feel comfortable that you should be in intermediate and not endanger yourself or others, because if you're too slow, but overall the consistency is the biggest thing. And one of the things, I talked to, I don't know, 3 or 4 interviews ago, we were talking about it. One of the like weird things, I see it all the time. Okay, your eval's up, and let's say I'm coaching you in novice. You're going to go out with Mark Blitnikoff during your intermediate for your eval. And they get out there, and they're like, I got to show that I'm fast. Well, then they like override themselves, and they miss all their lines. They're super inconsistent. We've seen it. We've had people run off the track. Yeah, you can't get your bump. Well, then, like, I literally had to sit down with this one guy and say, dude, why didn't you just do exactly what you did with me? Like, you were, I mean, dead perfect. But he went out and he thought that he had to go a higher pace and show that he belonged. That's all we're looking for. What I saw is why you're getting your eval, right? So just do exactly what you were doing. Don't try to increase your performance or look quicker or try to make this pace, because it'll just end up bad for you. Just do what you're doing. If we saw something that said, we want you to get your eval, yeah, you just keep doing what you're doing, because obviously that worked, right?
Cool. So you guys usually initiate that process. Or does the rider come to the coach and say, hey, I want to eval. I think I'm ready.
I mean, it's both. I remember when I started doing track days like a long, long time ago, like 10, however many years ago, it was a long time. It was like absurd to ask to be bumped. It was like it was just kind of like people like, who are you? Right? Because like, you'd figure, but I would also say at the same time that like, in those organizations, there's only so many coaches and stuff. Like it wasn't 3-to-1 like we run in novice. It would be like 3 coaches to like 30 people. They don't necessarily see what you're doing, so it's not structured like that. So there's not necessarily a way for them to like, unless for some reason they got behind you and followed you, that they saw something, whatever. But like, they're not working directly with you. It's not like a one-on-one thing after lunch or whatever it is. They don't do leapfrog and really see what you're doing. So, the only really way to do that, I think I just signed up for intermediate at one point. I was like, I think I should probably go by now. And that was it. But like, you just can't do that shit anymore. But yeah, I mean, people ask, and sometimes it's all like, hey, last time I was here, I worked with this coach, and he, said, maybe the next time I'm here that I should get an eval. And yeah, so I'll go talk to the coach and ask them, and then said, well, okay, we're not going to do it now. Let's go out. We'll get a few sessions under your belt, make sure whatever, and then try to set one up later. But yeah, a lot of times it's like, especially because most of the time I try to get that group one, and most of the time at the end of the day, it's like 1 or 2 people are gone. I'm like, yeah, you got to go. You got to go get your eval. Let's get you out of here. Yeah, so it's, I mean, at least for us, I would say it's probably more 80% that we say, hey, let's get you an eval, get you going. But
cool.
How do you feel about the morning drills in novice? And is there anything you'd change about them?
I already kind of am. Like, now I'm okay with it for the most part, right? I started doing this. I think I only did it like 3 or 4 times. And the first group I had, and I don't know if it was you. Was it you in it? Was my first group, Sam?
I
Okay.
think so.
Yeah. So I had her. I had like 2 other people, 3 other people. When it was 4, or did I have 3?
There were 4 of us.
And then we dropped one though real early. So it was they got bumped real early. And then it was just us 3. But I said, okay, guys, how many times have you done novice class here at Nelson? 4, 3. This is my however many day. Okay, so the same rigmarole we go through every time, right? Yeah, you get used to it. Cool. So I went and talked to Malakar and said, hey, they've done this class so many times. At this point, we're going on track. Okay. Just you sleep through it because you've heard it 5 times already. You know exactly. You don't have to go to, you have to go to it, but, necessarily like, as far as the knowledge, you wouldn't even have to go to it because you already know it. You know exactly what we're going to work on first session, second session, third session. So I said, hey, it would be great. Like, let me take these people. They're in group 1. They're close. That's that, they're at the pace where we're very closely there to get into intermediate bump. And let's pull them aside. These drills and this stuff. Let's have like an open discussion. Like, Sam, what do you need to work on? What have you struggled with? And she's whatever, this corner, whatever. And then the other 2 people, the one guy's like, yeah, me too. And then I go through and explain some things. And then we're still doing the drills, but when I'm out there, I'm also kind of focusing on that particular thing. Like this corner, okay, let's watch what I'm doing here and how I'm entering this or what I'm doing. And then we come back and we discuss that. Okay, you guys have other questions. Kind of like what we're doing right now, but in that setting with those people. And it seemed like that was one of the best days I've ever had coaching novice because you guys were like super, super hungry. It wasn't like taking advantage of like, we don't have to do the class. It was, okay, let's take this opportunity to like make the most of it. And it was awesome. We had a really, really good day and a lot of questions answered that doesn't get covered normally during those novice things. But since it's rehashed so much and they've heard it, there's those type of exceptions, and I'm trying to kind of make that a thing so that, like, I'm not the only one doing it. Like, I would love to have other coaches at least evaluate that group. Like, if you have a guy that goes, I'm going to be in group 1, never been to Nelson, no, you're going to have to do it. Like, you just go through the class. If you at least done novice class once, I'll find it acceptable. But, like, group 1 or group 2 and have done the class 2 times, I think we should, let's go into the other tech shed and like, let's work on more things to bridge the gap, right? To get you more prepared.
I like that. I've been through the class a lot, so
yeah,
I'm excited that you're gonna push that a little more.
Yeah, I've been there. I have to sit through it every time. So I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh man, I've heard this so much. I think it's great information for people though. Like, but I've heard it hundreds of times. So, like, I don't zone out until, whoever's running it finishes up, and then we get our little meeting right after. Now I'm way more involved during those, times right after the track. And we can, if you have a question, something you notice right on the track that time, instead of having to listen to this, you might forget your question or whatever, we come right back, separate, and just hash it out and go. And I think it helps. I would hope that it helps bridge that gap and maybe close the distance into getting to that intermediate spot by answering some of those other things. Because, like, really where a lot of that work comes is, like, after lunch, after leapfrog, where you can go and grab a coach and work one-on-one or whatever. Like, I think that's where, after you've done the novice class a couple times, where more of that, like, real one-on-one and kind of more progressing through it happens is when you can actually work with someone hand in hand and they're focused on you and get to, instead of watching 3 people, so yeah.
Is it my turn? I lost track. So you kind of talked about this earlier with just some people are slower to develop their skill set versus others. Do you have like a general time frame you expect someone to move through novice and into intermediate?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
They could take 2 years, whatever they're comfortable with. Now, there have been cases, and I've seen this intermediate to advanced too, where like I see it and I go, yeah, for sure 100% ready. I can see it. And they may have doubts, and like I can completely understand that, to feel like I don't want to get in there and be a rolling roadblock and like, you know, what's going to happen, whatever. Sometimes like they need that little push. If they're not ready, they're not ready. Obviously, the decision remains with that rider. But when I see something, and other coaches have done this too, we see something, go, look, dude, like I'm telling you, you're more than ready. We see the consistency. You have more than enough pace. And going up to that next class, like if you stay where you're at, and we see that you're way more than ready, if you stay where you're at, you're going to be dead in the water. If you want to progress more, you need to move up, because you start getting with people that are, you'll be riding with more people that have higher skill set. Intermediate's a toss-up because you have such a wide spread of like people coming straight from novice, people that should be in advance, people that are all over the place sometimes, unfortunately. But, you know, if you are with a faster group, it's going to drag you further along, right? And like, especially intermediate to advanced. Like if you're ready and you're having doubts, and I've had this conversation with like 3 people, and I'm like, dude, just do it. You are more than ready. You don't need to be hanging out in intermediate anymore. Why do you want to have to come in and hot pit to get some clear track? You were complaining about someone, you know, huffing it down the straight and parking it in the corner. Get in advance. You're not going to have that. You're going to have people passing you? Absolutely. But guess what? It's complete open track at that point, right? I mean, you won't have any problems being stuck behind anybody slow. But ultimately, like I said, if you're not ready, you're not ready. I mean, if we can talk to you and show you that, you know, you're capable and, you know, you have the skill set to do it, we're not going to just demand you do it. You do whatever you want. You know, you come here to ride, and we're going to, you know, respect whatever you're comfortable with. But, yeah, we will at least talk to them and say, you know, you do have the skill set and whatever to be able to make that move. So, but no, I wouldn't say there's like a determined amount of time. Some people could get out in 2 weeks, and somebody might be a year and a half. It just is what it is.
How important is tire pressure at the novice pace? I feel like that's something people worry about quite a bit that I'm not fully understanding yet.
I'll give you 2 answers to this. In reality, is it much importance? Dude, like, slicks are really important to have the pressure right. I don't even check my pressures all day when I'm coaching novice.
Really?
Like, I'll set them at, you know, the first session, and they'll fluctuate up and down. I know I lose pressure on track, whatever. I may put some air in them, you know, during lunge. But, like, I'm just not going at a pace where it's going to matter or even really affect tire wear, to be quite honest. Now, I say this with everything. Like, when people go, you don't need suspension when you're that slow. Whatever. Okay, that's I'll say in reality, that's true. But guess what? When you do have, like, say you have aftermarket suspension and not stock, do you feel in your brain that you can go faster? You have good shit, right? Now I have confidence. If you know that your tire pressure is where they're recommended, are you going to go faster than if you don't even know? Right? In your brain, you're going to be like, well, I can't because, like, I don't even know if my pressure's right. So on track, you're going to be thinking, like, that squirm is because, like, I don't really know where my pressure should be. But if there's the recommended settings, you get them set correctly, you're not going to think about that because you know, well, the tire guy told me 32, 36, or whatever the hell it is. So now that part of something that's talking in the back of your head's gone. So, like, is it important? I would say yes, because it's one thing you don't have to have lurking in the back of your head to prevent you from, you know, doing that little extra, right? And that's why I always recommend earplugs. If you don't hear the engine revving really high and it's muffled, the sense of speed comes down. It's like looking far ahead. The track slows down. Anything that you can do that makes you more confident and comfortable on the bike, freaking go for it, man. Like, It's whatever. Like, people make fun of somebody coming in with a $40,000 bike. If that's what makes them confident and comfortable on it, whatever. I don't care. I'm just glad to see it at the track.
Hell yeah.
I think I'm running out of questions. I had one while you were talking, but I forgot. So if you have another, go for it.
How much should we rely on electronics while riding? Should we have them on to save our ass a little bit, or should we turn them off?
Electronics? What electronics?
She's got the old school chicks, sir.
Hey, me too. I've got a 05 R6 with no slipper clutch, and that's super fun coming into 12, and it just
Yeah.
around. But just generally, is that something you should have on at all at the track, or is it something
like,
you
generally ABS is kind of garbage.
right?
So ABS, whatever. I mean, I don't know. If you buy a bike and it has it, I mean, they make these bikes with electronics for a reason, right? Like, obviously it's more geared towards safety on the street and stuff, but like, there is benefits on the track. A lot of people say, oh, you should learn how to do it all by your wrist and this and that. And like, okay, but that time's gone, right? I mean, like, it's wheelie control, slide control, launch control, ABS, cornering ABS. I mean, dude, my Ducati has the book for the electronics is like this, just the electronics, like this thick. And I'm like, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. I put wheelie control on 2 and everything's on 1. If it was all on 3, would I notice anything? Probably not, to be quite honest. You know what I mean? At my skill level and pace or whatever. I mean, I will say, like, traction control has saved my ass a couple times. And so it does kind of give you a little bit of more confidence to, like, push the limit on, like, getting on the gas sooner or whatever it is. But, like, electronics still won't save you. Like, there's nothing that's going to completely save you. Like, if you mess up in a way that's just not meant to be, you're going to low side or you're going to high side or whatever it is. But, like, yeah, I mean, again, it kind of goes back to that, like, confidence thing. Like, I'll give you, for instance, like, do either of you guys have airbag vests or airbag suits?
No.
Soon, but no, not yet.
Okay. So I rode with just the normal leathers forever. And when I had a chance to get an airbag suit, I bought one. And I got a good deal on a used one. And when I put that on, bro, I was like, I have an airbag. Like, if I wreck, it's not going to be – and I don't wreck a lot, okay? I've only wrecked a couple times, and they've been low side. I've never had major things. I've, like, dislocated a shoulder or something, but I've never had major crazy stuff. And that is from the baby step learning process and not, going and just YOLOing it into the grass. But when I got the airbag, I was like, there was something in my brain that was like, okay, you can push harder now because the risk has lowered. So then, I can push more because the risk has lowered. It's weird. And when I had my backup suit and I wore it, my pace went down because I'm like, okay, well, now the risk just went up. So now my pace has to drop. So, like, throughout everything, no matter what you do, it all comes back to mental. Like, that is the key to unlocking your skill at the track. It's just, I mean, once you get past the basics of, like, the line, body positioning, how you weight the pace, all these different, like, basic fundamentals, after that, it's just 110%. It's all mental. It's all mental. And like we talked about earlier, the rate at which you overcome those and how you learn, it all affects that. But it 1,000% comes down to all mental. And I still, whenever it's plateau, it's always that. And, I mean, that's where I end up getting hung up on certain things. It's just all mental block. Like, well, I know I can't go into that any faster. But, like, that's one thing I will say about racing. When I do a track day, I still, like, all the time in the back of your head of, like, I don't want to crash. When I race, like, I wouldn't say it's completely gone, but it's like 90% gone, and it's freaking crazy. Like, I'll drop – the first time I raced, I think it dropped 2.5 seconds. I was like, holy shit.
Wow.
I thought I was, like, completely at my limit doing track days. In my first race, I dropped 2.5 seconds. I was like, where did that come from? It's because I was just like, I got to get past that guy. That was it. It's wild when you, like, you some of those thoughts like get out of your brain. So like I said about the tire pressure, kind of it's similar to that. Like when you don't have that to worry about, okay, so the less you have to worry about, the more at ease and the more comfortable and just the easier it's going to be to do those things. But again, it all comes down to, your risk factors and all that stuff. It's all freaking mental. I mean,
It's crazy to think that the human brain is the biggest hang up,
It's not to me, because I've just lived through it, man. And it just is like, well, you're doing that thing, but you just have to go like this more. I can't get on the bike and do that for you, right? And nobody can get on the bike and do it for me. So it's like your brain has to tell your hand to hold it open longer. But your brain goes, that's enough. That's it, right? I mean, it is. But it's survival instinct, right? It's just we've been made like that forever, like since cavemen. It's survival instinct. And people's risks is different, like I said, so their survival instincts may kick in at different times, but yeah, it's just 100% mental. Like, it just is. I mean, you watch MotoGP? You watch MotoGP? Yeah. Okay, so like the 26 Ducati or 25 Ducati kind of sucks. Mark can ride anything, but like you gotta look at Pecco, his slump when you get down in that, the mental block. I mean, a lot of it's the bike. But there's the other side of it. It's mental. Like, if he doesn't feel confident and good on that, it's not going to perform. I mean, dude's crashed out of, like, half of the races this year.
Right.
I mean, it's wild. But that kind of shows you, like, even at that level, mental block. And, like, Jorge Martin, when he won the championship last year, the year before, he was kind of up and down, whatever. But he got a rider psychologist, like whatever it is. And then it changed his mindset of how he like goes into things, and like it's a big factor of why he won his championship. So like it's legitimately just all mental. Like ain't nothing about that. Once you get the fundamentals down, that's it. After that,
So what's your mindset like on a typical track day?
Just go out, have fun, and help people. Like, if I'm doing like intermediate, usually I'm either an advanced or novice. I don't do a lot of intermediate now. The first year I did a ton of intermediate. He never really puts new coaches into novice because he wants to make sure like we have the most structured, safest, whatever. Not that he doesn't trust us, but he's like, let's get this coaching under your belt a little bit. And I used to love intermediate because a lot of those people are really hungry. And advanced, if it's a guy that's coming from intermediate to advanced, they may want some help, but most of the time, those people are out there just spinning laps and going fast. Like, I like that. Like, if I don't have that helping somebody, even if it's like I'm in advance and nobody's really wanting help, and I've asked a couple of people or nobody's came up to me, maybe me and another coach, and we're helping each other out. And but like, I just feel great whenever I can help somebody. Like, that's my like whole goal at the end of the day. Like, I stopped caring about lap times at track days a while ago because when I would compare myself to other people and stuff, it would get me down. And I'm like, I feel good on my lap times. Like, I'm comfortable and I'm having fun. So that's forgotten. Now it's like, how can I help you have fun? Like, when you put that lap in or when you're bumped to I group and you're like, oh, shit, like super stoked, I'll be so pumped. You know what I mean? Like, that's like the biggest enjoyment for me is like seeing people like that little, what's her name? Tay or whatever, the little tiny girl that's on the triple.
Oh, I don't know.
Or the
That's
Triumph.
Taylor on the Triumph. Yeah.
Yeah, she got her bump. She was just like
Cute.
taking pictures and shit. And I'm like,
Yay.
yeah, because I had her in my group all day. And I'm like, hell yeah. Like, she's been doing that novice forever. And she's finally got it. And like, I was so stoked for her, man. I was just like, I want it to be more of an event. And that's another thing I'm going to try to do next year is been talking to Malakar about, like, oh, you got your eval, go get your sticker, and the guy drags you in whatever. I want to make it more of an event, like, because it's an important accomplishment. Going from novice to intermediate or going from intermediate to advanced, it's an important accomplishment that needs to have a bigger celebration of. So I'm not saying we need to, like, shoot fireworks and let balloons off, but more than, like, here's your sticker, I'll see you later. And a lot of it's just because, like, our staff is, we have a big staff list, but it's because some people can't make it and some people can. So when we get really busy and stuff, just one time for that. You know, it's like, we congratulate you and we're happy for you, but it's not like a fanfare or whatever. But like next year, I want to make it a point to do that because like it's a big thing. Like I didn't have that. Like I said, I just put myself in intermediate. But when you make that accomplishment, it's like you feel validated again. You feel validated that you've worked for it and you've like you belong there and you know you've made that progress. It's like graduating from, you know, high school to go to college or college to whatever. It's like it's a momentous thing that I think we should have more celebration about and make it a bigger deal.
That's cool.
Anything else?
I think that's all I've got for today.
All right. Well, then I got a couple questions. One of the questions I asked the coach is like, you guys, have you ridden with other organizations? I don't need to know the names. Don't tell me the names because I'm not trying to do like put anybody down. Have you,
Yes.
Sam? I know Bennett did. Sam have. So not like they suck at this. What do you feel that Nelson, that we do at Fasttrax that really is just like, you know, heads and heels above or something that really sticks out that's you know, puts us a little bit, edges us out over a different, you know, organization or other place you've ridden?
I mean, you guys definitely are more like smaller group. Granted, it is a smaller track, so it's not overwhelming. You're not lost in a group of 10 or more, or just no group at all. Just go out.
Yeah.
I'd say the coaches are great. I mean, they definitely focus on teaching more than the others that I've been with, and that I really appreciate because I was lost when I first started. I mean, it took me 2-3 days to learn the track, you know, and just Nelson's coaches, or Fasttrax coaches rather, just really helped me feel like I belong there more than, you know, other experiences.
Yeah. So this question I'm going to ask is not necessarily like particularly directed at Fasttrax, but as a whole, like you room with other organizations, you room with us. Is there anything that you've that you would like to see done at, you know, any organization that you ride, like something that nobody does that you're like, you know, it would be a cool idea if they did A or B or whatever it is? What is something that like if there was a suggestion box that you could throw in there and say, oh man, this would be really cool if you guys did this particular thing?
So like one-on-one coaching, how does one get that? Like, is that an option?
Walk up and ask.
Okay.
So like, for instance,
like from the get-go, like forget the groups in the morning. Like, I just want to work with one person.
Like,
let's get through this.
In novice, it's going to be really hard to do. It's going to have to be after lunch. When you get an intermediate, go ask any coach that's riding intermediate, 1,000% they'll work with you. If you don't know particularly who to go ask, but you know me, let's say I'm working in advance that day and you're like, hey, are you because like what usually typically happens is if I work with somebody in novice and, you know, something clicks between me and this person or me and this other, whoever it is, 9 times out of 10, the next time they come back to the track and they're in intermediate, they're like, where are you working today? No, I'm advanced. Man, I kind of want to do whatever. No problem. Hey, I'll just go switch. I'll literally just swap places with somebody in intermediate if they're willing to. Most likely they will. And I'll work with you all day. Unless there's somebody else that wants help too, and we'll just kind of break it between two people. But like, yeah, like if I have nobody else that is asking for any help that day, and you ask me, and even if I have to move into intermediate, I'll work with you all freaking day. Like I'll put the GoPro on, we'll take video, do the whole thing.
Cool.
Yeah, that's one of the things I really wanted to implement. And like, Mike loves the idea. The problem is like, we just don't know, you know, how much staff will have to do it. I don't care if it was me and we could rotate people out, but I wanted somebody could be free, right? Like all day. They weren't subjected, like didn't have to go into any class. And the beginning of the day, we did it one time and that day it rained. So that destroyed my whole like attempt to do it. But he announced in that meeting, like, hey, Ryan's not working in a group. Go grab him. First come, first serve, one-on-one coaching. Okay, this person comes up. Hey, I'd like to work. Okay, I'll work with you session 2. Next person, session 3. And during that session, I'm going to record you. I'll be in front of you for a couple laps. You get in front of me, and then I'll record you, and we'll come back It could be at lunch, and we'll go through and show you the video because, like, I can tell you things. But if I'm watching it, I pull it up my laptop and go, see here where he did this? Man, what a great thing, right? But it's just like staffing stuff is really what kind of runs that, because most of the places that do that, like, super dedicated one-on-one with video and going through all this stuff, you're going to pay like $1,100 to have that guy do that all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more. I think my buddy was going to do it with like Cody Wyman, and it was like $1,500.
Wow.
But like super in depth, right? Like whatever. But yeah, I would like to do that. Like if we have the ability. But if I am working in intermediate, like I said, and you're riding an intermediate, and I don't have anybody else to work with, we'll just do that. Just come ask me.
Mhm.
And if I'm not, and I can't do that, and let's say Chris Johnson or Chris Bogert, I'll say it with them. I guarantee, like Chris Johnson, 100%. He runs his camera all the time. He's got videos on his like YouTube of like, we had one girl, Jenny, forget how to say her last name, but he had her eval bump. He had that recorded.
Nice.
So like that's one of the things. Okay, yeah, you're gonna get me on this when I said the podcast stuff, but not so much podcast. But I want to give all the other coaches access to the YouTube channel. So if they do have stuff like that, they can load it up. And, you know, say this date, so like this particular weekend, and they can upload that video, and then you use a customer and go on there later. Like we reviewed it maybe at the track, or maybe we didn't have time, but you can go back and look at it. You can watch it and see stuff. I mean, if I'm working with you, I would want to review it right then and there with you, because the chances like, okay, so I have your contact from this, so I could message you and say, hey, let's review this video, right?
Right.
But if it's a person that was their first time there or whatever it is, that's probably not going to happen. So we want to do it there. But I want to try to give coaches a chance to be able to upload that stuff. It's all one central thing. People can watch these interviews and watch the questions, and then also see like video of themselves on there. So that just kind of goes along like, I don't know. I have no dog in this fight as far as the organization. I'm just a coach, but like I really want to improve things. Like I want to do whatever I can, and I can only make suggestions. Yeah, but yeah, I would love to do that stuff. But yes, as far as if you want one-on-one stuff, just don't be like when you get an intermediate. Anytime you're ever at the track, just say, "Hey, can you work with me today?" I'll do it 100% as long as I'm available to do it, and 90% of the time, all coaches are going to do it. Hell yeah, we'll work with you. What do you want to work on? You know?
Great.
For sure.
I'd say one thing I'd like to see be gear rental. I feel like a lot of people don't ever make it to the track because they don't want to spend $800 to $1,200 on a suit before they commit to. You know, they might not like it. You know what I mean? So
here's what I'll say about that. That gets like there's like liability and stuff, so I know that probably won't ever happen. But what I will say is if you post it up and you were like, I really want to go to the track, I'm unsure if I want to do it, I don't know if I want to commit X amount of dollars to do this, does anybody have any gear I could rent? I'll tell you right now, there's probably going to be 10 people that go, I have boots, I have gloves, I have a suit. Like I literally have two extra sets of boots. I have an extra suit, and I have an extra pair of gloves, and probably 3 other helmets. I wouldn't let somebody wear my helmet just because, like, helmet's my face, man.
You sneezed in it. Like, no.
But, like, I have boots, 2 pairs of boots. Like, we've loaned stuff out to people before. But if somebody literally went on the Facebook group and asked, I bet there's no chance that they wouldn't be able to have everything lined up for them when they got there.
Well, now they know, right?
For no cost, because that's just how people are, right?
Yeah.
I know all the coaches have extra suits, boots, gloves, whatever. So, yeah, the rental thing just won't happen because it's there's just like, too much insurance and liability shit nowadays. It's just like there's too much of that stuff, which I don't understand a lot of it, but it's always a no because liability. That's the answer. But yeah, like as far as people, like we all have shit that we'll let somebody use. We don't care.
Right on. Well, then no one has an excuse then. You can find the gear out there if you really, really want to go to the track.
Exactly. And like, I don't know how many, I've went to Pony and I mean, how many times, and they have like the Ixel or whatever it is, those suits on clearance for like $250. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like, you just have to hope and pray that they have your size, whatever. But there's deals to be had here and there. But like, I do understand what you're saying. Like, if you're kind of like on the fence, but all I can say is if you do one track day, did you ever think you were going to walk away? No, you were probably like, I need to go get a second job. That's what I had to do. Like, I was like, damn, man, this is expensive. But it's so
Should have done
awesome.
both days
Right, that's
instead of just
exactly
one.
right.
Yeah.
What else here was I going to ask? As far as so what I'm doing with this, is there anything you would like to see outside of what we're currently doing now, which I think this is a good idea for this, to like have people that have been there and you're asking questions that maybe somebody that hasn't came would like to know, or people that maybe have done novice, but just some people are shy, they don't speak up. So I like this aspect of it, and also letting people know a little more intimate, like the backstory of the coaches and what they're like. 'Cause how many of you knew anybody's riding experience? You just know that like you see us at the track and we go around pretty quick, but like,
Yeah.
did you know like how much time?
Looks
we've had
legit.
right. So, and that we all are like the same stuff that you guys experience in novice. Like we've all done the exact same thing. We've all been there. So like, that's how we can relate with you guys so much and be like, yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like been there, done that, and we understand. And I think that's why we can like help try to get past those things. But, for like this channel, is there anything else that you'd want to see that I haven't done? Like I'm going to be interviewing like the photo guy, like John Martinowski, and also the lady that cooks the bagels and shit. I just got to get her contact. But, is there anything else that you'd like to see? And if not, that's fine. That's just one less thing I got to do. But like, I always like, the start of it was kind of like, okay, introduced, but like when I started asking questions of people, then I started thinking, that kind of brought up some of the things. So like, I don't want to do shit that people are just going to get annoyed with. But if it's informative and you guys want to know about it, then yeah, I'll do it for you. You know what I mean?
I don't know if like anyone else would be interested in this, but like, what does it take to own and run a racetrack? Like pit race just closed. Like why didn't they want to do it anymore? Is it hard?
That's opinionated. A lot of people just said they sold out. They're like, the money was too good and they walked away. But I know like to rent the track is insane. How
much is that?
So like when you rent the track, it's like you rent the track and the staff that were corner workers, and then a Nelson, the medic, is part of the track. So that is part of it too. And then so like most of the costs, a lot of it comes to insurance, right? So you're like kind of paying that whole thing. I think maybe $12,000 or $15,000 for like a weekend, something like that. And like, yeah, so it's a lot. Yeah, it's a ton. And like Nelson's a smaller track, so I can't even imagine what it costs to rent pit. It's got to be astronomical, $25,000 or something. I mean, crazy. It's a lot. I do want to talk Brian, the guy that owns the track. I'd like to talk to him, and I'll probably I don't know him at all. I don't even know if I've ever met him. Maybe passing, but I'd like to talk to him to ask him those type of questions because, I mean, I can't imagine what it costs to like upkeep a track. Like I know I wanted to pave a mini track in my yard.
Yeah.
And I go, maybe like, I don't know, a mile. And the quote I got was like $60,000. And I was like, yeah, not doing that. I always wanted like a mini track, but.
I want one too. I really do.
So, dude, like, I was like, what about just chip seal? We'll do that. And that was still like $45,000.
Wow.
I was like, this is crazy, man. So, yeah, like pavement stuff, all that shit, that's just a tip of the iceberg. Like the insurance and all that shit, it's got to just be astronomical. I couldn't imagine, but yeah, it'd be interesting to know that stuff. I don't know if I have anything else that I can think of. I probably did have questions, but most of the ones I just kind of wanted your feedback on, what you think that Fasttrax did, and then if there's anything ideas. I thought of some things, but like there's stuff people think of stuff and that I never thought of. Be like, man, that's a great idea. So like. For sure, if you guys ever think of something, pass it to me, and I'll run it by Malakar or whatever. Be like, what do you guys think about doing this? Like, I got the suggestion. Like, I'm completely open to it. I'm not the end all be all of it, but I'll pass it. You know what I mean? If it seems like a cool idea, let's run with it. I'm just trying to I want to set us apart. Like, I think we do a really good job with that as far as how personal our staff is and how dedicated we are to the customers. But like, if I can do something like this, that's just that little bit extra, like, why not? You know what I mean? So that's what I'm about, man. I love doing what I do, and it's just, I don't know. It's a good time, man.
Killing it, man. You're killing it.
Oh, I
I love the
appreciate that.
interviews so far. I've watched them all. They're
Good deal.
yeah.
I really appreciate it. Well, if you guys don't have anything else,
Nope.
how long do you think you've been going? Hour and 20 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah, not bad.
it's a long one.
Again, I really appreciate you guys doing this. I think we got a lot of stuff, like cool topics covered, and yeah, I'm gonna push for that. I don't know what you want to call it, but that extra novice thing that I've been doing.
Novice plus.
Yeah, exactly. We'll name it that, whatever. But I think that's a great. I love doing
Yeah.
it. It made my day awesome, and I feel like the few times I've done it, the people that were doing it with me, they just really enjoyed it. Not only just to not do the classes, but like have that extra thing. So like, yeah, that's one thing I'm really, really pushing. But again, thank you guys for taking time out to do it. I had a lot of fun doing it. I hope you guys did too. And hopefully people find this informative and whatever. So I'm no pro at this crap, so sorry if I sucked. But outside of that, next year, you're close, right, to intermediate, Sam? Yeah, we'll get you there, and
Come
then
on.
we'll get some one-on-one. And even if it's not an intermediate, like, and I'm a novice, we'll do some video. Same thing, Bennett, grab me. Like, if it's after lunch, we'll do some video footage and run it, or ask Chris Johnson will run it. But, yeah, we'll guys get you there. And once you get an intermediate, it'll be awesome. And then you'll also get a little lost, too, because you'll be like, ooh, picking up the pace. And then so reprocessing, doing it all over again. But we're there to help you. So we'll see you guys all next
Can't
year.
wait.
And, yeah, so I guess we'll just call it right there if you guys are good.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, guys.